Aiming is an essential part to Super Doomspire because it involves the usage of various weapons. These various weapons include the Superball and the rocket. The Superball can be an important weapon, especially in combat, considering it's a great weapon for medium distance angles, long distance angles, and generally angles where you want to aim at a range distance. The rocket is another important weapon that requires aim, as the rocket can be used to knock off spawns as well as damage players from a certain distance. Aim is also a thing that a lot of people struggle with in Super Doomspire, and so in today's video, I'm going to show you how to improve this aim in simple, easy steps that will gradually help improve your aim, and some even instantly to help improve your aim. Let's get started. My name is TanookiAlex, and this is our Super Doomspire series, where we go over the latest tips and tricks, and so much more. Let's get started. Yo, what's up, Nerd Squad, and welcome back to another Super Doomspire video. Before we get started in today's video, make sure to subscribe for Roblox drama, news, tips, and tricks, and so much more. We have videos 3 times a week and more Super Doomspire tricks in the playlist, so be sure to check that out on the cards. Anyways, let's get started with our first tips. My best first tip that I can give for Super Doomspire is to always use a mouse and not a trackpad. A mouse will always produce more accurate results than using a trackpad, especially for firing things like rockets and superballs, which is the main focus of the lesson today. It's a simple yet effective thing that you can do to improve your gameplay and works almost instantly to improve your gameplay, especially if you're a trackpad user. Remember to always use a mouse pad when using a mouse, because otherwise you can leave a lot of scuffs on your desk and etc. To make a cheap yet effective mousepad, use normal paper. Do not use construction paper, as that can leave a lot of issues, especially with tracking and movement. Our next tip involves something known as aim trainers. Now, what aim trainers are a supplement essentially to help improve your aim. This is probably the best tip that I could give, and I will recommend some free and paid ones that may help you improve your gameplay. Remember, progress won't be instantaneous, but it will be gradual, and you'll start to see a massive increase once you start practicing. I recommend practicing with an aim trainer for around 1 to 2 hours a day. The benefits of AimLab is that it's free to play, it tracks progress in charts, it's good to improve 3D grid training, and it's good for 3D targets. The disadvantages of AimLab is that it's still in beta, which means it's not complete, also it may have bugs. AimLab's best training for SDS includes Grid Shot, which helps to aim small targets in the same area, which is multi-shot superballs. Draft Track helps to improve opponent's movement, which is smooth tracking. Motion Shot gives a sense of 360 aim, which is best for rockets and quick shots. Let's talk about the paid version, which is known as Kovac. Kovac has much more custom training. In fact, 10k plus drills made by the community, so you can probably find some custom drills on there. It tracks progress and statistics much better in terms of numbers. It's good for more realistic training, as shown in the video over there. It's also good for 3D targets. However, there are disadvantages to Kovac, which includes that it's paid, it's $12, and that it's optional DLC, which is not worth it at all. Kovac's best training for SDS includes flicking training, located under training, and various under drills shown. There's actually tutorial videos for flicking training, which I'll show in the next. On June 1st, 2021, I'll be giving away a copy of Kovac, so that way you can play if you want to. To enter for this copy, simply comment down below. Aiming in Super Doomspire consists of heavy tracking and target switching. When doing a mix of these, there are 2 things to focus on, which is reactivity and smoothness. Smoothness is basically how accurate you can track a target in a more natural movement. Basically, you want to have the least shaky wrist possible. Reactivity, to put it simply, is the ability to react to the target's turns. Sometimes you'll have the habit to predict. And many top aimers in other communities like Kovac say that predicting is wrong, because often you'll go in the other direction and fall under pressure. You don't want to do this, especially in Super Doomspire. To stop this habit, you should assume that the target/opponent is going in that direction forever. If you're still stuck on being able to unreact to turns, I would recommend practicing 10 minutes of smooth your wrist and perhaps lower the timescales on Kovac's drills under the settings when using Kovac's drills. There are multiple drills that I recommend for Kovac. Let's explain them in the next slide. The 2 drills that I recommend the most in Kovac's are Kata Fast Strafes and Kata Long Strafes. Strafes are very important drills that mimic the user of a Super Doomspire player's movement. These are very useful, especially when trying to aim at a moving target. If you're a pro player, choose Kata Fast Strafes. This will help mimic the movement of a pro player and therefore be on your skill level. If you're more of a newer player, choose Kata Long Strafes. Our third tip is to practice flicking. Flicking is very important, especially for Super Doomspire and Superball training. Superball training involves a lot of flicking, especially for targets that are moving and such. As you can see by this video by Kovacs, which shows you how to do, this is what flicking basically is. It's going forth and back in very small, consistent movements. Flicking is a very important part of Super Doomspire, especially for rockets around the corner too, so be sure to practice flicking on every single aim trainer that you can. You're probably wondering, what Superball do I choose my accuracy? To be honest, there's no right answer. Every Superball has different properties to it, so be sure to experiment with Superballs and find one that you like that is tuned to your accuracy. The best Superballs that I can recommend for good accuracy players are definitely the Shuriken. The Shuriken was actually nerfed because of how powerful it was. Especially because of Shuriken's charge up ability, it can act like a sniper type weapon. It's better to over-aim than to under-aim in my opinion. Under-aiming often means you miss a lot of shots. For each aim, you should try to use around 2 Superballs. However, don't use too many, because using too many can mean that your shots become more inaccurate. With this training, especially with Aim Trainer, you'll learn to place your shots more effectively. If you want a more accurate shot on your Superball, be sure to go into first person, but don't go in it for too long, as this can lead to blind spots, and blind spots are never good. What pros will often do is they'll scroll in and scroll out really fast to avoid the meaning of the blind spot. Lastly, my final tip is practice, practice, practice. Remember, unless it's the mouse tip or the zoom in tip, it will not be instantaneous. Definitely won't be instantaneous. I recommend practicing around 1 to 2 hours each day on the Aim Trainer to make yourself better. Remember, if you can't download one, there's always free ones online too. These free ones are great, and they're great to use. I'll leave some links in the description so that way you can find out where to use these Aim Trainers. Remember, there's also a giveaway, so you can comment down below for that, and it ends on June 1st, 2021. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope these tips helped you a lot. Be sure to share your tips for aiming with others in the comments so that way they can know too. I'll see you in the next video.